So what I was thinking about was my grandmother's strength. So it was my grandmother who raised me up until she passed away when I was age 12. I gave her such a hard time, I believe, as a kid because I just didn't know any better. But also, I remember she said I was the hardest kid that she ever had to raise because I resisted her discipline. Anybody else, back in the day, you go get a switch out the tree, you take your punishment, you take your punishment. You did something wrong, you get a whooping. Especially in the Black community, that's the way it was. But me, I was resistant. I could not take those type of forms of punishment, and I would resist a lot. So I would just give a lot of headache. Fast forward to now, I'm in my 30s, and it seems like it was the lessons that my grandmother taught me more than anyone else that makes me who I am today. She was reserved. Her name was Q.T. Perry. She was reserved. She was quiet. She had a calm confidence, but you also knew she didn't play. She meant what she said what she meant, and she always followed it up with her actions. Even if she made mistakes, she never let her mistakes change who she was on the inside. And it's crazy because I think she thought I wasn't listening. I think she thought that because I resisted her discipline, her physical forms of discipline, that I missed the correction of her heart. And I didn't. I sat and I watched her. I sat and I observed her. And I'm even getting emotional now just thinking about this, but I could tell you her whole routine, even to this day, even in my 30s, even 20 years since she's been passed away. I can sit down, I can tell you everything she ate on a regular basis, everything she did, every show she watched, the sequence and order of the shows, how she would get down on her hands and knees in her flower garden, tend to her flowers, how she would watch her stories, how she would watch Wheel of Fortune, how she would sit down on her bed with one leg on the floor, one leg up on her bed, and sit there and play cards, solitaire, by herself on her bed. How she would think, how she would get on the phone, how she would get her hair done every 2 weeks like clockwork. And how she had a quiet confidence. She would stand on that porch with her hands on her hips, and you knew that she meant what she said. And yeah, I was resistant to physical discipline. I think a lot of that had to do with maybe abandonment and rejection that I felt from another story for a different day. But she didn't know I was listening. I was learning. I was taking it all in. And truth be told, I'm a lot like her today, to this day. And her strength carries me on. So I guess I'm thankful for my grandmother's prayers and for her life of conduct and how she carried herself. And I have gratitude that even when I was difficult, she was gracious towards me and she never gave up on me. She never turned her back on raising me as best as she could with what she had and knowing what she did. Even though I was a child of a totally different time, I was a computer geek, I was a gamer. I was all this, that, and the other. I was difficult at times. I was rebellious at hard at times. I was difficult. Like, that's what it was. But she never stopped. She never changed who she was in order to reach me. And as a mother, that's what I pray I leave as a legacy for my children. The same legacy that she left for her children. And even though I wasn't blood to her, that's the crazy part. She was technically my step-grandmother. I don't even know what you call. She was my blood grand uncle who raised me as well. They raised me as grandparents, but they took me in. And I wasn't blood to her, but she gave it all for me. And that makes a difference more than you know. So I just want to encourage you today. Maybe you have someone in your life. Maybe there's someone who is difficult, or, dealing with them is like pressing nails, pulling teeth, scratching a chalkboard, whatever it might feel like. Don't give up on them, because you never know how God may be working. And they might be carrying your torch one day.